Welcome back to Reading the List, where we review, discuss, and reimagine popular movie lists objectively. We're your hosts. I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad. And in this episode, we'll be exploring number 51 from AFI's 100 Years, 100 Passions, the 100 Greatest Love Stories of All Time.
Okay, and number 51 is Bringing Up Baby, directed by Howard Hawks, released in 1938, starring Katherine Hepburn and Cary Grant.
So the synopsis for this screwball comedy is as follows. The day before his wedding, mild-mannered paleontologist David Huxley, played by Cary Grant, has a chance meeting with free-spirited scatterbrain Susan Vance, played by Katherine Hepburn. Soon he becomes embroiled in several incidents involving Susan. Thinking he is a zoologist rather than a paleontologist, she manipulates David into accompanying her to deliver a tame leopard named Baby that her brother has sent from Brazil to the family farm in Connecticut. On the trip, Susan falls for David and does everything she can to keep him around and from him getting married, including hiding his clothes. Susan Aunt's dog George makes off with a prized brontosaurus clavicle in David's possession. David is forced to wear negligee to run after the dog, only to run into Susan's aunt. He is dismayed to learn she is potential museum donor Elizabeth Random. Both Baby and George run off. The zoo is called to help capture Baby. Susan and David race to find Baby before the zoo, and mistaking a dangerous leopard from a nearby circus as Baby, let it out of its cage. David and Susan end up in jail by befuddled police who don't believe the leopard story they are telling. After numerous misunderstandings causing several more people to be jailed, David saves Susan from the circus leopard by using a chair to shoo it into a jail cell. Sometime later, Susan finds David at the museum on a scaffold working on his prized brontosaurus. She has the clavicle, which she found after following George around for 3 days. Against his warnings, she climbs up to talk to him. We learn his fiancée has left him after all the hijinks caused him to miss his wedding. Susan tells George her aunt gave her the $1 million and she wants to give it to the museum. David is more interested in telling her the day they spent together was the best of his life. They declare their love for each other. Distracted, Susan causes the skeleton to collapse. David grabs her before she falls. He lifts her to the platform and they kiss.
So this is definitely a screwball comedy.
This movie is really, really
it's
fun.
Crazy.
It's really, really fun.
It is really fun. It's really fun. Her character reminds me of that book series that I read as a kid, Amelia Bedelia, who is totally danger prone, and she's just a mess.
Everything she does, something happens. There's this scene where her dress rips down the back and she's just basically showing her bare ass, and he's totally trying to be chivalrous and cover her up, and she's thinking he's being fresh, and it's just this really funny sequence. And then the whole thing about the leopard.
Yes.
I mean the whole concept of the fact that there's a leopard in this movie, this is everything about this movie is nuts.
Yeah.
He meets her on the golf course. He's trying to woo this guy who's a potential donor, and he's not good at this stuff. His fiance is really trying to get him to you gotta go do this.
Yeah.
And he hits his ball and it's kind of off the fairway, and he goes to get the ball, and she hits his ball.
Yeah.
And he's trying to explain to her it's
and
his.
She's no, that's my ball. That's
and she's just
what are you doing?
She's just completely going around.
And then she starts driving. His car looks just like hers.
And she starts driving.
She just starts driving away in his car, and he's that's my car. That's my car. And she's get off my car.
And she's banging into stuff. I mean, it's just it's really she's just a nutty character.
It was almost a little annoying. I was getting a little okay.
It's kind of a Howard Hawks thing where he has the really buttoned up guy and the zany woman, and the real extreme opposites attract, and they kind of complement each other.
It's a lot like What's Up, Doc?
Yeah.
That movie we rated already. It's a lot like that, where he's totally straight laced and she's this flighty chick, and not as danger prone as Yeah, but
Katherine he eventually he seems to he just kind of seems resigned to
He turns a corner.
He just like turns a corner. He's like, you know what? My life is just going to be insanity if I'm with this woman, but I really want to be with this woman. So I guess insanity it is.
Yep. It's very, very fast dialogue.
Yeah. It's, again,
super fast.
Again, another Howard Hawks kind of thing in his movies is the dialogue's really witty and the characters are really
and very
witty.
subtle.
It's
like
subtle.
Sometimes you can't pick up. You gotta really listen.
Yeah, it's subtle. All the characters are really smart. That's the one thing I like about this movie is, yeah, she's totally nuts and a little scatterbrained, but she isn't played as like airheaded or dumb.
No,
she's just like all over the place. She's like one of those really smart people that
just doesn't have their shit together.
Though their mind works so fast, their body can't catch up.
Yeah,
and they don't have a lot of a lot of really, really smart people don't have any common sense. Like they can solve the most advanced mathematical equation you could think of, but they don't know that you need to turn down the dial on the toaster to make the toasts not burnt.
Yeah, they got too much up there.
There's just they don't know how to do like simple like life things, but like you put them in like a situation to solve like these really complicated things in their element. And I think she's kind of like that.
Yeah, and Cary Grant and Katherine Hepburn are great.
Yeah, great chemistry.
Great chemistry between the two of them.
Apparently, like one of the reasons the movie really went over budget is they had to keep reshooting so many scenes because the two of them were just dying laughing together. They were just making each other like laugh hysterically, and they were laughing at everything.
Interesting. That's kind of cool.
And apparently, this movie was written specifically for her and her style of comedy.
Okay, makes sense because it's very. She does tend to talk really fast, so it does feel that way.
Yeah.
I think when I first started this movie, I didn't know about the leopard.
I know. I kept that.
And I was like. Okay.
I really wanted her to go into this with having no idea that there's.
And I was like,
there's a.
Oh.
They're like I'm like. They're like, she's like bringing a baby. I'm like, wait until you find out what baby is.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, like she's just chilling with this leopard in the back of her car.
It's just like there's so much goofy stuff in this movie, and like. Her aunt is great. Like all the supporting characters are great. The whole sequence in the jail is very, very like who's on first.
Yes.
I mean, it's
so funny. It's really
this
funny.
This movie is really, really fun.
Yeah, very fun movie. Sweet story.
Yeah. It's a good time. Like you just, it's of its time. You couldn't remake this movie and have it make sense.
People would be like, what the hell are we watching?
PETA would be all upset.
Yeah,
because
there's a leopard.
There's a leopard that got shipped and you're not supposed to own like exotic pets and what happens, you got to suspend your disbelief. You kind of just got to roll with the fact that, there's a leopard here. And the lie is there one leopard, but there's two.
One escapes the circus or whatever.
They escape it from the circus.
Because they thought it was baby. Yeah,
there's a sequence where she thinks she's got baby, and she's like dragging around this very, very dangerous leopard, and it's just like...
It's so funny.
It's nuts. And then when he realizes that's not baby, because they see baby and George, just like hanging out, he's like, oh crap. That's a real, that's a real dangerous animal.
Yeah. So it's a fun time. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. What's our score?
I gave this one a 61. You gave it a 57. So the list score is 59. There are some elements of this that are quite dated, but this movie is charming.
It's very charming.
It's really, this is a definite watch. Like sometimes some of these movies where, they get scored in this kind of range, we're just like, don't bother. But this one definitely. This one
you should check out for
definitely
sure.
Check this one out.
Like the ending with the big ass ladder.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, oh man, she's gonna screw this up.
Well, right away, they set up that Chekhov's gun like right in the beginning of the movie too, where he talks about how he's been working on this skeleton for years. Mm-hmm. Like it's a massive skeleton that he's been putting together, and like the big thing is like he's waiting for this clavicle that he's been waiting for forever, which comes into play because George runs off with it thinking it's a regular bone, and he's just like, you know.
Looking for the dog.
So they're looking for the dog. They're looking for baby. It's like there's just so much.
There's so much. It's chaos. It's complete chaos all the time.
The whole movie is chaotic.
Yeah, and then you get people coming in who don't know what's going on, and they're confused, and it's really funny.
Yeah, it's really, really great.
Yeah. So I guess that's it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you have comments about this movie, please leave a comment for us on this video. And if you like what we are putting out there, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to contact us directly, please contact us at ratingthelist@gmail.com. For now, I'm Jerry.
And I'm Brad.
And we're Rating the List. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.